Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Connecting Life podcast. I'm your host, Dianaboskma, and I'm here to help you connect the dots of life so that you can live your best life in a healthy and fulfilling way. Today, I'm talking with Janelle Clayton Wilks. She's a good friend of mine, and she's a heart-led life coach, and overall just a really cool human being. So, Janelle, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm a coach who has been coaching for about 7 and a bit years now. I live in the Gold Coast city in Australia, so far away from Diana,
Yeah.
but the world has become somewhat smaller since COVID, and I really love the way that we've all been able to connect really everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we met during a training course that we both did in 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we've reconnected many times then over the years since then. And what I find I really love about coaching is that I really get to experience my life more deeply through listening to others. And
Yes.
I mostly coach women,
Hmm.
and they're mostly between 40 and 70, and they've usually come to a point where they feel the need to do some changes in their life because they've been so driven by others and just being the caretaker of others and working and being busy with life that we don't really until often we're closer to 50 that we really get that space to
Hmm.
start to really get a bit curious about ourselves.
Yeah.
Think about what we actually like to
Hmm.
do, who we'd like to be, what opportunities there are really, really in life for us. Because I
Yes.
know sort of from 20 to 50, I was just being a mother,
Hmm.
being a wife, being a worker, and just being so busy
Yeah.
taking care of life that
Yes.
I didn't take much attention of myself.
Hmm.
And that's what I really love, to help other people learn to pause, to slow down,
Yeah.
and to really go within and think about what their dreams might be.
Yeah.
And maybe then we think about what could be stopping us from having those dreams right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it a lot with women. Somewhere from 45, they start to
Mm,
have this thing. Wait, the kids are older now. What am I gonna do? Some
mm,
feel quite lost. I've also had conversations with women who then, for a while, were caretakers for either the parents-in-law or their own parents because they then got elderly and couldn't fully take care of themselves. And then once you're done with kids and the parents, then what? Because then there's such a huge gap in life all of a sudden because what are you going to do? You've always been basically told how to live your life because others needed you that much, and
mm,
then you have that opportunity to start thinking about what do I really want. And I've
mm,
been there myself as well because my kids are adults now, and my parents, they've died in the meantime. So
mm,
the last few years of my mom's life were quite difficult. So that there was a lot of time going into that, and then my kids were also a bit younger, and then all of a sudden there's this big gap, and then what are we going to do with life? For me, it became this thing of, okay, let me start to do something really good with my life. And that's what I
mm.
see with most women, that they want to do something meaningful that is meaningful for themselves and others. That's the interesting thing. It's
Yeah,
frequently including others.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been beautiful too, because my clients are all over the place, so I have several women like that as well, but not only. So but yeah, it's been quite fascinating. And what you mentioned about in a coaching conversation, by listening to others, that you learn about yourself, I've noticed that as well. I find that a
Mm,
really beautiful thing because created inside me growth and awareness of things that I didn't realize before, just by
Mm,
listening to other people's struggles.
that's right, because we can hide things from ourselves
Hmm.
so easily.
Yeah,
And sometimes when someone else has one of those aha moments and we
yeah.
think, oh, yes,
Hmm.
I do that too. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So sometimes as someone else is having something awaken within them, it
yeah,
just takes me a little deeper into that journey towards my
yeah,
heart, my life, and yeah, and what I need to give attention to.
yes, yeah. Yeah, that's been, I think, for me, one of the most surprising parts of coaching. That because I thought I would be helping others. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm doing that, definitely doing that. But through that, helping myself as well was not something I expected to happen. And it's about listening to them and then coming to their realizations and the changes they make. And what they're talking about is not necessarily exactly my thing because my life is different than theirs. But the realizations just help me then also with, oh wait, I
Mm.
could. And it's changed me over the years. But then again, there's this saying of one of the Roman wise people: no man ever steps into the same river twice, because he's not the same man, and the river is not the same river, because your cells constantly change.
Yeah.
Everybody has an influence on you, and that river, well, that's keeping on going. So yes, that makes it made so much sense, and it resonated with me, that one. And I always think about that when I have one of these realizations when I'm talking with anybody, not just in a coaching conversation.
Mm.
Then it's this thing. Oh, I've changed again, and in our conversation, we've both changed because our cells have changed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's a cool
right.
biological thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think it's interesting that our cells change like fully. Well, why don't I look different or
Mm,
younger or something? But
yeah.
they sort of get replicated the same.
Hmm. Yeah, they do. They do. But yeah, in 7 years, all your cells have been exchanged. I read at some point. I thought, wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Mm.
really. So
Yeah.
every 7 years, we're a new person.
Yeah. So that's about as long as I've been coaching. So, and I think like it's probably in smaller increments than that too. It's not just our cells,
Hmm.
it's our thinking and our emotions
Yes,
and our depth and everything.
yes,
So
that's for sure. Yeah, I
yeah.
have. For me myself, I have a friend that I see once in a while. So there's usually at least 6 months between hanging out again, sometimes even longer. And every time that friend has this thing, "Wow, you've changed again. What's happened to you?" And he kind of stays the same. He does change a bit, but he doesn't change massively. But he's got the
Mm.
same life, the same job, everything's the same. And in my life, things do change, and I talk with people who change, and that creates change, I think. And he's just
Yeah.
always surprised in a positive way. It's always this thing of, that's so cool how that's worked out for you and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a career, a
Mm.
life passion that really gives back.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
we're not just helping others transform their lives, but
No.
they also help us transform our lives.
Yep.
It's such a reciprocal thing.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So, yeah, like you say, yeah, I sort of don't notice so much how much I change.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I know some friends of mine certainly don't seem to change all that much. And I think it is the influence of
Hmm.
the really different people that I have
Yeah.
conversations with.
Yes.
We're all going through different things and we're all in different parts of the world, but
Hmm.
and yet we experience something very much similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It often feels like deep down the difficulties people have are very, very similar. It's just on the surface that they are very different.
Mm.
But when you go deeper into it, it's frequently about self-worth.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for a lot of women that I've realized, because most women that I have conversations with, they struggle with seeing the value of themselves when they stop being a mother or a wife.
Yeah.
Because, there's women who just end the relationship as well once the kids are bigger. And then
Mm.
finding value in, because when you've only had value from being a mother and a wife, and
Yeah.
a daughter at times, then it becomes this thing of, oh, who am I? What am I? Yeah, and that self-worth can be really big.
Yeah. That can also come out as women have, I think, a lot of blockages around receiving.
Yes.
And I believe that starts very, very early on in our lives. We're
Yep.
taught, maybe it's about not deserving, and we just cannot attract. We just cannot go
Mm-hmm.
above certain levels of
Yes.
accepting things like
Yes.
money and career changes and things into our lives
Yeah.
until we've really discovered what's
Mm-hmm.
stopping us. Why
Yeah.
can't we receive? What were the stories
Mm-hmm.
we were told? And they're not
Yeah.
always clear stories. They're just sometimes just the feelings of the environment
Mm-hmm.
around money or getting gifts or
Yeah.
our jobs, what we should or shouldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of, I feel it's cultural things that
Yeah.
generally, because you see it on TV, you hear it, it's kind of this ingrained thing in our society where women are givers.
Mhm.
And that's not really how it works. We also need to receive, but
Mm.
frequently you see women go so far with giving that they crash and burn in it. Because
Yeah.
I've had a couple of times where women had this thing that they were talking about having had a breakdown because they couldn't cope anymore, and then making choices. And then they've had some therapy, and then after the therapy, they had this thing: I need some more. I need to find ways to change my life, and then end up talking with people like me. And I've had a
Mm.
few of these ladies where they had to say, I don't even know what to do anymore. And then
Mm.
taking them, because it's walking with them, then talking about it. And to be fair, with one of my clients, I literally walk in the park. So that is literally
Yeah.
walking with her. But that's also really interesting to just go on that journey with them to see what they really want, but also seeing what's really stopping them, where these thoughts come from,
Mm.
and then helping them rewrite the story, because that can be really intense, because that's sometimes small steps to rewrite the story of what's defined them. And I watched a video years ago, and in that it was said we are the accumulated opinions of others, because the moment we are born, we're told what we are. You're so pretty, or you're so smart, or you're so kind, or you're so giving, or you're so caring, but they don't know who you are. The moment you're born, there's nobody knows which personality that baby has, yet that gets told to them all the time. And when
Yeah.
it's outer stuff like you're so pretty, yeah, okay, I can see that, but you're caring, you're giving, you're nice, you're sweet. You don't know that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting, isn't it? That we
Mhm.
shape ourselves on the not only the opinions, but just the
Yeah.
way people sort of either interact with us or not interact with us.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I certainly grew up in the era of be seen and not heard.
Hmm. Yep.
When you went to visit aunties and that you
Hmm.
got to say hello and then you were
Hmm.
to go and disappear somewhere. Like
Hmm.
you really didn't actually have anything to say.
No, and it wouldn't be taken serious either if you said something. Yeah. We always
We didn't have something to say.
no.
Because,
No, for us it was when we would visit certain family members, it would always be bring books and coloring books and
yeah,
drawing materials and be quiet.
yeah.
Or go outside and leave
Mm,
leave the others, leave the people with
to
something
have
to
a cup
say
of
to
tea
it.
or whatever.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. Because
yeah.
that was the other part of it. So they would have their cookie and tea, and
Mm,
at times we didn't. Or it
mm,
was just go outside. So we would hang outside, go to the playground, do whatever. And
mm,
then at the end, when we would go home, I would have this thing. So you guys have just sat there, had a drink, had some food, and my mum always brought stuff to make sure that we would have stuff on the train. But it was
mm.
sometimes fascinating to see how the kids were just not part of it, and
Yeah.
that goes inside. As a child, you
Mm.
don't consciously notice,
That you're
but
not
you get to
part
a
of.
point. Yes, it
Yeah,
does. You do feel there's a depth to where that goes because you do feel you're not important enough. You do feel you can't be seen and all that. And yeah, that's something many people have grown up with.
yeah. And what I love is that that has changed across the generations. So
Yes.
with my daughter, she became more visible, but my granddaughters, there's no stopping them being part of everything. And
Yes.
they say what they want, and
Hmm. Yep.
there's no holding them back. They're
Yeah.
part of every environment they're in. They're
Yeah.
never invisible.
No, I have that
Yeah,
with my daughter and granddaughter as well. My daughter was certainly more present and made her own choices, did her own things. There was not so much influencing her because she
yeah,
really wanted to make her own choices and she thought that through. And with my granddaughter, she loves being part of everything.
yeah,
So, when she hears giggling, she'll come running. I wouldn't
yeah,
have dared to come running because that would not have gone well. But yeah,
yeah,
no, she will come and then even asks us to repeat the joke and stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah, they don't want to miss out on anything. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and
How old
I
is
s
she?
she's 7.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah. Well, they're about to turn 9 and 12, actually.
Oh, bit older already.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice. Yeah.
Getting tall and beautiful and yeah,
Mm,
growing up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it goes so fast.
Yeah, it
I
does.
I can't believe it's already a good 7 years ago that she was born. It's just, where did the time go?
Yeah. But it's such a special joy, I think, being a grandparent,
Yes.
much more so than a parent.
Mhm,
And I did live with my daughter at the time that they were
mhm,
both born and in their early years.
mhm.
So I was very close with them.
Yeah,
And it's just such a wonderful experience to be able to give your input, but
yeah,
to also then just to step back and let the parents
yes.
have their own learning.
Mhm. Yeah,
And yeah, it's really special. And I still have a great relationship with both my granddaughters.
yeah, I can imagine. I have my
Yeah.
granddaughter still living with us, so
Oh, you're lucky.
yes. Yeah, 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 from, I think the end of the pregnancy of my daughter, then they came back living here,
Yeah.
and they've lived here ever since, so I've had 7 years of joy with the
Oh,
grandbaby.
that's so good, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it creates a really special relationship because she would just easily come to me, ask me anything.
Mm.
Like, I would not just run to my grandmother and say, "I'll go," and jump. I was just not gonna,
No,
but
no,
and she will. So
it
she would
was
just
so
come to me.
different. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this
Yeah.
morning before this call, she actually came running in and had this thing, hug or climbed on the chair because then we are equal height. So it was a really good, nice hug. And then I do have to get busy. She said, "Okay, see you later," and then walks
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
things
it's
that
really
she's
special.
comfortable with talking about and being present with, she just doesn't walk away from things. She doesn't feel shame of being with us talking about things. It's just the way I felt like I shouldn't be there. She doesn't
Mm.
have that. Totally not. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is. It's so special.
Hmm.
And that they can have such a freedom in their lives then
Hmm.
to be anything or do anything that they can
Yes.
imagine.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
didn't have to wait till they were 45 or 55 to
Yeah.
stop being everybody else's something
Yeah.
to start to find themselves. So,
Yes. Yeah. I see that with my kids as well, that they are much earlier at knowing what they want and why they want it.
mm,
They're much more aware of these things. That might also be because of what I do, that we talk, have deep conversations at the dining table
yeah,
quite regularly and things like that. And they're all also a bit into the personal development. But I also think it's also the different way of parenting that I wanted to see them. I wanted to be with them.
yeah,
So, yeah, yeah, I think it's a bit of a two-way street.
absolutely, yeah. I think
Yeah.
we get to do what, didn't happen for us, so,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I found really interesting as well to see on that journey of being a mother and a grandmother is I certainly wanted to do things different than the way I was grown up, so or had grown up.
Mm,
So I really had lots of thoughts about this I want to do different, that I want to do different, and also realizing why I wanted that. So I
mm,
did. And then with my daughter, she did things a bit different than me. And at some point, we had a conversation about it because I had this thing, this is cool. She's realized where I didn't do it exactly right, or to her opinion, not right, because it will be different for everyone.
yeah,
But I also had no difficulty with it. Like, I hear a lot that grandparents struggle with it because what they did was fine, and why would they have to do it differently and stuff like that? But I didn't have that because I really had this thing. She knows where I didn't do it the way that
yeah,
was right for her. So it's perfect that she's confident and happy enough to make those changes. And then she had to say, "So you're not struggling with it?" I said, "No, no, 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 no. I just need to know the rules, but I'm not struggling with this." So
yeah,
there were some things where I had to say, "Okay, I have to adjust that to the way that was habitual for me." It was cool. So yeah, we had some really good conversations about why she made changes, why she did
mm,
things differently. And it taught me a lot as well because it was just really interesting to see, oh, yeah, I could have done that better at times. But
mm,
at the time I was doing it with the best of intentions. And the more you learn, the more you realize, oh, this could have been done better. Nothing crazy, so it's all good.
yeah, 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 it is really good, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had these. I used to do some voluntary work for a parenting organization, and that was the biggest struggle people had, that they parented different than their parents had done, and parents would struggle with that. And
mm,
yeah, which is, I think every generation will do it different because we all know what we didn't like of what our parents did, so we will try to improve on it. I
yeah,
would consider that totally normal.
yeah. I guess I think as generations go along, I think we're a little bit more open-minded
Hmm.
and maybe somewhat safer
Yeah.
too. When you go back into the 50s and 40s and 30s, there would have been so much more fear involved in life.
Hmm. True. Yeah. Very good point.
Uh,
Yeah, especially around this area with World War II
yeah,
being a thing.
yeah,
That was a really
yes,
hard
and
time, and I
food
don't think.
rations and
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I don't think people were thinking about parenting. They were surviving. That was it.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that had to go into then the way they parented.
Hmm.
So then it becomes a process of
Yeah.
learning more freedom through safety, I guess.
Yes. Yes. I don't think you can really tap into freedom when you don't feel safe, because
No.
when you're in survival mode, that's all you do.
Mm,
That's it. There's nothing more than. And when I heard quite some stories of my mum and dad over the years, and aunts, uncles, because they did talk about what had happened. Because for some reason they did like telling us the stories of how difficult life had been, and it had been really hard. And then in history, I learned about how hard it was that people were, surviving on so little. So yeah,
mm,
it's hard times.
yeah, yeah. We certainly are so much more blessed.
Oh yes, we're definitely really blessed to have. There was a time where my um, from my mum's side of the family that they didn't even have a house anymore in World War II because they were taken out of the house because that was taken over by the Germans. So they had to leave, and they had 24 hours to grab their stuff, and then they were evacuated to the north. They had nothing with them because what can you carry? So
Mm,
they lost everything at the beginning of World War II, and then had to walk halfway through the country up north, and that took weeks before they got there. That was it. And then, I've always had a roof. I've always had clothing. I've always had food. And
yeah.
they didn't. They just didn't. And my mum was quite young at the time because she was about 4 or 5 when that started.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, 5, because she just had a little sister. Because my aunt was born in September and they had to leave in early times of the year after that. So, yeah.
Wow. I can't
Yeah,
even imagine that then the parents are having to carry these other children as well as their belongings.
so what they did have was a big pram. So they chucked that full with stuff, and my aunt was laying on top of the stuff, on some blankets, some clothing, whatever they could put in there. So they were lucky to have that because not everybody had that. So yeah, and they only had 2 children, which was also lucky because a lot of other people had way more children and then had to take care of all of that. So yeah, they were kind of lucky, the two of
Mm.
them, despite the horrible circumstances because they were really, really difficult. Yeah. Just they had so little. They slept in school buildings and sometimes in the barn of a farm or whatever they could find
Mm.
while having to keep walking. So it was days and days and days of walking.
Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
unimaginable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless
And
we
then
see things in movies, we just
yes.
really grasp it.
No, that's the thing. It's a really difficult thing to understand.
Mm.
And it shapes you. So
Yeah.
my mum did really the best she could coming from surviving and
Mm.
being hungry a lot because things stayed difficult until quite a bit after World War II. Took some years before the food supply was back up running and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, her formative years were all about having nothing and being hungry.
Mm.
Yeah. She did amazing, actually. Now that I'm talking about it, I have to say she did really amazing in life. Then, yes, she was a hoarder, but we never had trouble with food. We always had a roof over our heads. She was always doing the best she could, always
Mm.
being, she wanted to give us a really good life and being very kind and caring. So yeah, actually, really, really amazing how people from those days ended up doing so well because most people did. When I look at people, the parents of most of my classmates, they were all doing quite well, and they were all of the same generation. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess there must have been a really deep appreciation for whatever you did get.
Yes, yeah, that was definitely there. And I did get brought up with you have to be grateful you have 3 meals a day.
Mm.
So, and that does make sense because there is some gratitude to be had for that. There's nothing
Mm.
wrong with being grateful for it. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting things how people
Yeah.
get through really difficult things, and then yeah,
Yeah. That's so true.
yeah.
Mm.
It made me think of the book of Viktor Frankl, Man's Search of Meaning, or for meaning, of meaning. I don't know. Have you ever read it?
No, I haven't.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
It's um it's not an easy read, I'll be honest about that, because it's a Austrian Jewish psychologist, psychiatrist, I think psychologist, who ends up in concentration camps, makes it through, and then writes the books after. He became quite old, and he created a form of therapy to help people get into living quite a normal life again. And it's really interesting to see how he sees that having something to live for keeps you alive.
Mm.
I found it really fascinating to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really would be, because, I mean, I can't imagine the hardship. I think I've had a challenging life in my early years, but
Mhm.
that's nothing like on those sorts of levels.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So certainly I appreciate my home,
Mm.
that I now own a home, and I didn't own a home until I was 60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I lived in rentals up
Mhm.
until then. I
Wow,
even
that's
lived on a yacht for 10 years, which sounds very
amazing.
glamorous, but it's not. It's very hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Mm.
quite a bit that you've gone through then as well.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just the sort of the living circumstances, and that, and then I think we learn most through our relationships throughout life,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
about
true.
others and about ourselves. And so,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
mm,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, the loving and the letting go. So,
Mm. Yep. Oh, that's so important.
yeah, I've been doing some coaching after I learnt about the process of grief recovery,
Mhm.
because one of my clients was telling me about this program that she'd found out about, and so I did a mini course with it, and then I did the workbook myself, and it's it's so interesting how we have so many relationships that are sort of incomplete, and
Mhm.
they're the things that stop us from moving forward,
That's
that we may still have resentments against others
mm.
for what they did,
Yeah.
which no longer hurts them, but we hurt
No.
our own lives by
Yeah.
having these
Yeah.
thoughts and these feelings, and they just stop
Mm.
us from moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah. I've had some experience something like that in my own life where I thought something, and then the moment I worked through it, it became a completely different picture, and it gave me
Mm,
so much peace and also helped me move forward in quite some ways that I hadn't before.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, quite fascinating.
yeah, it is, isn't it, really? And sometimes it's not the people or circumstances that we
Mhm.
think are the
Yeah.
griefs or unfinished relationships that we would think.
Yeah.
And, it could be about a divorce. It could be, I even did a grief timeline on my spiritual belief around God, because I
Mm.
had such a falling out with God when I was a preteen, I'd say it was. And
Yeah.
so I went through a written timeline about what that was really all about, how that
Mm.
played out with the way I didn't think Christianity really worked at all, because of the way I
Mm.
saw my parents come home and act after church. I thought, well,
Yeah.
that's a pretty useless institution. Uh,
Mm.
and I certainly gave up on God. And so it's
Yeah.
interesting to write out these things and see
Yes.
how our young minds can shape our spiritual beliefs that need to be. And I mean, my spiritual belief has been a transforming thing probably for the last 40 years, especially.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I allow it to continue to evolve. I
Mhm.
don't often use the word God.
Yeah.
It's more of a spiritual energy now that I
Yeah.
connect with, and I think it's really, really important part of my life. But
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I
I get
don't
that.
believe in specific religion as
Mhm.
such,
Yeah.
but my
Yeah.
family do. Like, as
That's
in my daughter and my
mhm.
grandchildren, They're very much Christian, and
Mhm.
it works for them.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
I just allow, and I think that's what the grace
Mhm.
of aging is,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great thing when I can just allow them to be them
Mhm.
without me judging,
Yeah, there's no
which I
need for
certainly
it.
would have done when I was in my 20s because I
Mhm.
didn't think God could possibly work for anybody. But
Yeah.
now I see that their lives are pretty good. So
Mhm.
if that's
Yeah.
part of it that works, then that's really
Yes.
nice.
That is really good, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the experience of the divine, or however you wanna call it, is different for everybody,
Yeah.
because everybody creates a bit of a different connection because
Mm,
they are different. And the moment I realized that is that for me, it was this thing, I can't judge anybody for their beliefs because
mm.
it will be different for them than for me, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's only my experiences with certain things that
Yes.
I have control over and I can
Yep.
change.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's none of my business,
Nope.
really, what anyone else's belief is, unless it really was going to harm me in some way. And
Yeah.
then have to step away. But whilst
Yes.
serving them well in a positive
Mhm.
way, then it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
it's quite good to have those kind of realizations because you start to it gives you more peace is what I've realized. The moment I can just leave people to their lives
yeah,
and see that what's happening for them is good and it's working for them, then that's great.
yeah.
Leave it at that. Because I'm not the all wise person, so what works for me doesn't work for someone else, and that's fine.
That's the beauty, and I think that comes across not only as we mature, but also in our coaching
Hmm.
and in our conversations with others. W-
Yes.
We get to be so much more open-minded,
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And it
and
really makes life easier.
oh, absolutely, because you don't go in there with any form of judgments.
Hmm.
Whereas that's why I couldn't have done it in my 20s or 30s. Because I
Yep.
think I was conditioned so much that
Hmm.
this is what an adult does and this is what an adult thinks. And if
Yeah.
you sort of don't sort of, act and think like that, then you're a bit weird.
Hmm.
But I feel that the world is actually so much more richer and more beautiful without my
Yes.
judgment.
Yes.
And it allows me to really see into people's hearts so much more.
Yeah.
Because it takes down their barriers when my barriers are down too.
Yeah. Yes. That's for sure. I've noticed that when I'm open to
Mm,
someone, they're open towards me, and it gives such a deeper connection, and I really
mm,
value that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
it is.
yeah. So we've
Mm.
been talking for quite a bit here. We've managed to make it quite a nice conversation. Are there
Yeah,
any last words of wisdom you would like to share with whoever's watching?
um, I think the most important thing really is that we learn to open up to our own lives being our North Star,
Mm,
and that we certainly focus on everything that we need to do and imagine and want to be. Let that
yeah,
be what you want to
yes,
be.
yeah,
And in doing so, it doesn't mean that you're going to cut yourself off from others. It's quite the contrary. It
yeah,
actually brings you closer to others when you learn to take better care of yourself.
yes. That's definitely true. I've learned that over the years. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. All right. So when people want to contact you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, probably on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm there as Janelle Clayton Wilks at Awakenings Life Coaching.
Okay.
I'd say that's the easiest way to find me.
Cool. I'll of course share the details in the description of the video so that people can just click and find you. And I want to tell you that I really enjoyed our conversation. It was really nice to have you as a guest. So I'm grateful you joined me. So thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
Maybe we can do it some other time.
Yeah, that would be lovely. You make it very easy.
Oh, that's the idea. I just want to have a really nice conversation. I don't want to make it difficult on anybody.
No.
All right. All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.